What's good, y'all? Welcome to my review for this week's episode of Hero Waka Vigilantes, man. Phenomenal episode once again, man. There was actually a bit of CG. I think it's the first time we ever seen CG used in Vigilantes for Koichi and a handful of shots. Once again, looked amazing. I almost didn't catch it with CG. I mentioned this like countless times, man. Bones easily is probably one of the best best CG teams out there on the major studios, man. I've sung their praises throughout my reviews of the main series, and that once again continues on with this episode. Now, one thing we gotta talk about. We gotta talk about our girl Popstep. Oh my god, I fucking love her outfit in the next episode preview. It's so fucking cute. Love this outfit, and hopefully, if the anime gods will bless me, it'll actually end up being Popstep and to being Koichi's girlfriend that he has to like to while trying to show his mom that he's like, that everything's all good while during his college life. So if we're lucky, it'll be positive. No, Makoto is in there as well, so he might go with Makoto instead. We don't know yet, but the fact that Pop's in there in this like really cutesy outfit, I think it's gonna be Pop that he ends up picking, or Pop ends up like picking herself to be like, fine, I'll do it. So hopefully it's Pop. Hopefully it's Pop. But we'll see, man. We'll have to wait and see on that, ladies and gentlemen. And phenomenal episode, man. We got to talk about Captain Celebrity as well, real quick. Love this dude is a massive piece of shit. He is an asshole, definitely very much like Logan Paul. And actually, there's a line in here that I do not know if this was in the original manga as well. Maybe the adapted scriptwriter for this episode like snuck this in there as a little like nod to what happened with Logan Paul and the recent infestation of nuisance streamers in Japan. With a knuckle duster, which I wonder if that was in there in the manga originally, or that was something that the dub scriptwriter put in. We also had there was also definitely some moments where they were definitely. I haven't checked back to watch the episode in Japanese yet, but I definitely want to. Probably one right before I continue on the review, just to see, because there was moments of here where characters speaking English seemingly because there were subtitles, but obviously this is dubbed. Everyone is already speaking English, so yeah, you had little things like that. Which once again, it's annoying that the subtitles were like burned to the video, because obviously if you're watching this dubbed, this kind of makes it. The same thing with Pony with season 5 in Hero Waka. When you're watching a dub, she speaks English at random points, and yet everyone's already speaking English, so it doesn't really, fit and whatnot. Anyway, as I was saying, Captain Celebrity, big piece of shit. I love this dude's design, man. He is definitely going to be an entertaining character. I hate him, but yeah, he's great. And also, big shout out to his voice. At the time of I'm recording this one, I haven't seen any tweets of any VAs confirming that they're the voice of Captain Celebrity yet. There hasn't been anything yet, which is weird, because like by now, usually there's always at least one post that says like, hey, I'm the voice of this character, man. So I don't know if this is a Koichi thing where the dude whose voice just doesn't have a Twitter or anything, and that's why I haven't seen any posts confirming him as the voice of Captain Celebrity. But yeah, he sounds amazing, man. I love his voice. As you guys may know, I don't know if I mentioned this in my review, but this is something I definitely mentioned on Twitter, I think, or the very least thing I mentioned in the Hero Waka, but I don't know if I ever talked about this in the videos. I thought that because the seiyuu for him is the same seiyuu as Yoshikage Kira, and obviously based on the design and everything, who also voices Sephiroth, funny enough, in the Japanese version for Final Fantasy VII, I was kind of curious if DC Douglas was going to voice him in the dub. Obviously, it's not DC Douglas, which is a little disappointing, but the guy they got is perfect, man. He sounds amazing. I love the voice he uses. It sounds like a knockoff version, mimic of Chris Sabat's All Might voice, which I feel like might have been done intentionally, given how this dude comes off and everything, man. But he's great, man. He sounds amazing in the role, and hopefully we find out soon who's voicing, man. Maybe like while I'm recording or editing the review, we'll finally get the confirmed post on who is voicing it. But anyway, guys, without further ado, let's just jump right into the actual episode. So we start the episode off with Koichi chasing over a guy on a motorcycle. This is also the first time we get to see some CG with Koichi at the back, in like the wide background shots. There's also one other time when he's like scaling up a wall where it was CG as well. Like I said, CG was great, man. I almost didn't notice it, but yeah, just figured I might as well point out that this is probably the first time we've seen Koichi done with CGI. I think I might be wrong. There might be some cuts earlier in other that I just missed, but this is definitely the first time that at least I noticed. So Koichi's chasing over this guy. Pop says, "Tell him to leave this to the cops," but Koichi's like, "Nah, I got this." The dude ends up stretching out his leg. The dude's basically Mr. Fantastic. His quirk is long legs, so literally just Mr. Fantastic. Kicks Koichi in the face. He spuns out. Is about to get run over by a fucking truck. Yes, our boy Koichi was about to get isekai by truck. Thankfully, Captain Celebrity saves our boy before he is trapped in a shitty isekai anime. Anyway, this is when we're first introduced to Captain Celebrity. So anyway, he like puts Koichi, he throws Koichi down, goes over to the motorcycle down, just like uppercuts him, grabs him along with his butt, be like, "You got balls of steel, kid." Like I said, I don't know why there hasn't been a post yet confirming who Captain Celebrity is yet. But oh my god, I love his voice. But do yourself a favor, kid. Leave the danger to pros like me. Shing! I love this guy. Definitely, when I first saw him, I definitely thought, oh, he must be inspired by like characters like, you know, Johnny Cage from like Mortal Kombat. Though apparently, he's specifically based off of Booster Gold from DC, which I can definitely see the resemblance, at least in terms of designs. I don't know shit about Booster Gold. I know he got confirmed for a movie, I think he's getting, or it might have been a TV show indeed when James Gunn announced the initial slate for the DCU. I forget if it was a TV show or movie, but I can definitely see the design, the similarities in terms of design there. Though, like I said, I don't know shit about Booster Gold, so I cannot comment on like their personalities and whatnot. Anyway, Koichi like asked him what his name is because he doesn't know who he was. He's like, "What? Seriously? You don't know who I am? That's absurd!" And then literally throws the motorcycle and the dude to the side, and then does this whole little thing introducing himself as Captain Celebrity. And then this dude does an irredeemable sin. He signs his name on Koichi's All Might hoodie. Tragic. Tragic! Truly a despicable act of the highest caliber, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, Koichi is pissed off at this. Be like, "What?" He's like, oh, don't worry. You must have hit your head, kid. My scissors weighs far more than his merch. And like, dude is so self-absorbed, man. I fucking love it, man. So he says, "Time to make like a tree," and picks up the guys again. And that's when he finally fucks off. Now, after that, man, we cut back to Koichi's apartment. Well, first we get a little introductory video introducing Captain Celebrity, who actually, the interesting about this part was also done in English for the Japanese, because I went back and checked because I had the hard subtitles on it. In the original Japanese one, it had a separate English voice doing it. Here, they actually redubbed this one with Sonny Stray doing it, which I immediately picked up on his voice. So that's another Hiroaka cast member that once again makes a cameo in Vigilantes as a background character. Like I said, I don't know if this is done on purpose or not, but it's kind of been a fun thing for me to pick up all the Hiroaka main cast members that pop up in Vigilantes as like random side characters, background characters. So yeah, we get this whole introductory video that he's one of America's top heroes, and then now he's living in Japan and whatnot. We then cut over back to Koichi's apartment, where Knuckle Duster says that they should also talk about his fuck-ups, going by the nickname of Captain Catastrophe. There's been more scandals and lawsuits than you can count. Probably that's why I came over to Japan. And then Koichi, while he's like dabbing on to get rid of his signature off his hood, he's like, "No wonder I got such a bad vibe from that guy." And he's obviously very salty about this whole thing, man. Honestly, and you know, Pops asked him why he's hunched over, and they said that's when we see that he's like dabbing to get rid of his signature off his hoodie. Like, seriously, man, I hope one day, we probably won't, obviously, just given the timeline differences between Vigilantes and the main series, but man, I hope one day for like a movie or something, we get to finally see Izuku and Koichi meet, man, because they would be the best of friends, man. Seriously, and like, I already know if it was Izuku and Koichi, like, bro, he would have given him the fucking States line of Smash, just like he does to Dark Might. If Captain Celebrity ever tried to pull this shit on Izuku with this, bro, he'd be hitting him with the Manchester, the New Hampshire, the fucking Virginia, every single Smash he had there in an infinite combo, man. And it would be glorious, too. But, yeah. Anyway, after that, we then cut over to a random kaiju coming under, which is Godzilla! Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Godzilla is in Vigilantes. Not gonna lie, this is, which technically marks his second appearance in Vigilantes, because it was like in, I believe it was Season 4, I think it was, during the whole school festivals arc when we saw Godzilla again. So, yeah. I was also kind of hoping that, I don't know what movie this is from. I don't know if this is from, like, some parody American film, a Japanese film or something. I don't know where it's from. But I've seen this meme of this clip of a movie where someone says, "Look, it's Godzilla! We can't say it's Godzilla for Larry, but we should still run away still. We should run away like it is Godzilla!" I love that scene. I don't know what movie it's from, but it's hilarious. And I kind of wish we got that in Vigilantes episode where someone was like, "It's Godzilla! We can't say for Leroy, but we should still run away like it is Godzilla." It even sounds like Godzilla too, which I'm sure is done because obviously Toho is on the production. Kim India, if you're a Wakaman, they're on there. They also own the rights for Godzilla and stuff. That's probably why they were able to sneak in Godzilla sound effects in here for that bit. So that was pretty cool. This got a big pop out of me to see Godzilla in the episode. Anyway, while Godzilla's wrecking shit, we see Achiska, where it seems like this was obviously her doing, because we see the black tongues, and obviously she fed whoever this dude was Trigger, and it seems like he was like, but given how his quirk was just a gigantic, was just, making giant, seemed like she mentioned how he has no use for it, so I guess this is one of the failed experiments, seemingly. Anyway, we then cut over, then we see more people running away, and then we eventually see Koichi and Pops and try to help with the rescue with the evacuation. People tell him, like, go to the village, keep it there for a line, blah, 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 blah. We see this little girl with her mom. For some reason, they're wearing hard hats. I don't know, but then I think they might be living near a construction site, given what we see, like, right after this part of the episode. So maybe that's why they have, like, hard hats, like they're on, like, a construction site. Anyway, the little girl is saying that Masahiko, he's still in there. Koichi goes to rush to try and save her. Captain Celebrity comes back in there, be like, "Wait, hold on there, boy. Well, why don't you just hold on for nothing now? I haven't gotten a request to send yet, and the press haven't sent them, so I'm under no obligation to actually do anything." And I'm like, bro, this dude is literally the personification of fake heroes to save him. Like this is the dude that is the boogeyman that Stain has created. Literally, this guy of fake heroes. He is the antithesis of everything that Stain has said about fake heroes. And like, I really hope we do get that, like, Stain wasn't a one-time thing. We do see Stain pop back up in Vigilantes later on in the series, and if we were being so generous, kills off this dude, cause yeah, fuck him. So we'll have to wait and see on that Captain Celebrity, and so if we do see him and Stain face off at one point, but yeah, hopefully we do, man, because I feel like this is gonna be interesting. And like, this dude's literally the antithesis of everything that Stain has said about fake heroes. Because this dude ain't got not a single heroic going by. He's just there for the clicks, for the fame, and all that jazz. Anyway, Koichi heads off, and then eventually when he finally does get the request in there to actually save people from the cops, and then get started with his own little theme song. And man's got his own MC at his little head like his little control center, like playing his track, man. Don't lie. I gotta admit, the song's a banger, not gonna lie. The song is indeed a banger. And hopefully it gets released soon. Apparently Popset's songs have already dropped on Spotify, so hopefully it's not long before they drop Captain Celebrity's theme as well, man, because this song's a banger, not gonna lie, as he's fighting off against Godzilla. Anyway, we then cut back to Koichi. This is when we also get some more CGI when like some debris is falling over from like a construction site. We see Koichi dodge, and this was also done with CGI. Anyway, Koichi finally finds Masahiko, where we find that he's actually a little pooch. He grabs the dog and tries to run out there, but some rubble starts to come down on him. Or I think it might be like Godzilla's tail or something. But anyway, Captain manages to grab him and get him out there. Signs his jacket again, man. Oh, my poor boy Koichi, man. My boy can't catch a break, man. This is just abhorrent, man. Anyway, the little girl shows up, man, and is reunited with her dog, and thanks Koichi once again, calling him the Crueler. I don't know why these people just can't call him the Crueler. It just doesn't make any sense. Anyway, so then Captain Crystal comes back and says like, "Oh, I really don't worry about pets, so you can take all the credit for this one." And then asks Koichi to get out to drop the fanboy hoodie, as he calls it, because it ruins his shot it ruins his shot when getting pictures, man. So self-absorbed, man. Seriously, fuck this dude. Anyway, we then cut back over. It's now nighttime. I'm assuming this is once again the aftermath of the building and the construction going on after the battle with Godzilla. Koichi scales up to bed. I think this is the last time we saw CGI Koichi in the episode, but I might be wrong now. But I'm pretty sure this was the last time we saw it. Anyway, he then goes inside this window. There's two civilians inside: a fat sumo wrestling looking dude, and a woman. Both of them have ankle injuries, seemingly. Koichi's worried about how to get them out because he obviously can't take them both. That's the big dude. Luckily, Captain Charisma comes back in there, and he takes a woman, while Koichi has to break his back carrying this fat bastard. Koichi obviously asking the obvious question: shouldn't you be the one carrying the woman because you're the big, strong, muscular man? He's like, "No way, it'd be bad optics. Plus, I look really good with a lady in my arms." Ching! And Koichi's like, "I'm breaking my back so you can have a photo op." And like the fat dude's like, "Hey man, thanks a bunch." So at least he's thankful for Koichi for breaking Koichi's back. Afterwards, some rubble falls down from the building, which Captain Celebrity was able to stop before it fell on Koichi. Does a little photo op, and then they finally demolish the building with them doing this whole number with his own cheerleaders he has there, man. And I thought it was interesting that in the background for the title of Captain Celebrity, they use like the exact same font and everything that some of old Captain America runs use with like the red, white, and blue. It literally looks the exact same as some Captain America runs, which I thought was interesting. Anyway, they do this whole little song as the building is destroyed. Koichi and Pop's like, ooh, this is actually kind of cool, and it gives her ideas for her own shows and saying like, what's wrong with making it performance and everything? And you know, Koichi's dissing about it, being like, it's all flashy. He's like, all right, fine, I'm jealous. And I love his like facial expressions right here, man. Whoever did the key animation here did a great job. So then we find out the next one of the cheerleaders is Makoto, and obviously Koichi is not super high on her being on, as he says he doesn't know if he likes her being cheerleader for that egotist. And then Pops, once she sees that Makoto's in there, immediate switch with like, what about those outfits that they're wearing? And then who goes out there in mini skirts? I forgot exactly what I was like. And then Koichi looks over at Pop's who was obviously wearing a mini skirt, which I'm pretty sure this is the first time we've actually gotten a good look at Pop Step's ass. I think it was like literally the first time we've ever gotten to see any little like a somewhat close amount. Even then, you don't really see anything. You don't really see it. It's not as, I'm sure the manga, her ass was way more pronounced and a lot bigger. Here, kind of just like, is just barely covered by the skirt. You can kind of see a little bit of it, but not really all that much. It's just like, this is for my own performances, so it's okay. Then, of course, Makoto finds Koichi and Popstep, tries to get an interview with them, and they both split. This is when Captain Charisma goes in there, man. And, bro, this dude was laying on so thick with what he was saying, bro. Please, my intimate friends call me Christopher. You know, we should find more ways for you to be more hands-on with my agency. To do that, we need to get to know ourselves a little bit better. How does that sound? And then, bro, she's like, oh, cool, I'll kiss Rose for lunch. She wraps his arm around, he puts his arm on her shoulder, be like, you know, maybe give us a penthouse, a stunning view. And she's like, ooh, that's cool. And I'm like, bro. Like, bro is not even trying to be subtle here, man. Koichi calls him a creeper, and this is when nothing else shows up. We find out more about Captain Catastrophe, as he calls him. And all his losses brought on from women, so obviously probably either abuse, they were definitely probably, I don't know if I want to go as far as that he raped one, because I don't think he's that bad where he'll just straight rape one, but he's definitely a misogynist, a womanizer. You know, he's just not a good dude. Because I don't know, I don't think he'll be going that far as him being a straight up rapist, but like the dude's definitely a creeper and just a weirdo and just like way too handsome. But yeah, all the other losses were brought on by women, especially his estranged wife, and now that she can't keep an eye on him, he's now fallen into old habits. Now he's living in Japan. As you see a bunch of like newspapers of various headlines of his previous endeavors. Anyway, we then cut over to a few days later when Makoto goes to meet new Captain Celebrity. We see Koichi and Pasta watching them from afar. Love Pasta's outfit that she was wearing this episode, man. The hat with the little shirt, long shirt thing she had going on, man. Looked really good. I really like this outfit she had. And Koichi's like someone's got to protect her from Captain Celebrity, man. So then Captain Celebrity immediately finds them, man, immediately catches them, and then Koichi plays like, oh, I was just passing by and I just happened to see you. And so anyway, he then tells them that they're on a date, and that's when they fuck off. We then cut over to their penthouse suite restaurant, where Makoto shows them that there's actually a bank robbery in progress going on there at a nearby bank. And of course, Captain, I don't know, I keep trying to call him Captain Charisma. He ain't Christian. Christian's way cooler than this fucking dude. Anyway, Captain Celebrity continues like, oh no, I don't worry about that. I'd rather spend more time with you. And so then she gets a phone call saying, why don't you just leave it on no. And he tries to keep raising this chick up, raising up Makoto up, it's not working. And then we found she's actually talking to Captain Celebrity's wife. Yes, and basically trying to get him to incriminate himself, basically. And In the Japanese, it's probably they were speaking English here, and it wasn't like they had like American or English speaking voice actors dub over their lines in this part. No, they had the seiyus, say their lines in English, which is always great to see some English, man. It's yeah, man. It's always fun to hear some English, man. So that was pretty cool seeing the Japanese. Obviously, because I watched this dub, so it's all in English anyway. But I did go back to the Japanese when I saw that I saw the bird and stuff out to see what the English sounded like. But yeah, always good to see some English. And then she kind of goes on about him messing with other women. Could be used as damning evidence in her ongoing lawsuit. So dude's like, oh fuck, I fucked up big time. He's like, never mind, I'll go take care of that bank. We then cut over to the bank where we see this dude with a dolphin head being like, I want a vehicle outside waiting for me, something eco-friendly, maybe electric. And that's when we cut back over to outside the bank with Koichi and Popsit, where Koichi often wants to get involved, but he can't because he has nothing but street clothes. While Popsit's like, what do you want to do with anything about the outfit? Why does your hoodie matter so much? And that's when Captain Charisma comes. How dare I compare this to the Christian? Captain Celebrity comes in there and takes care of the guy, and then he grabs Koichi and throws him back over at the penthouse area, takes some quick selfies with him, which all of them make Koichi look like he's a hostage, as he points out himself, to show to his wife that nothing's wrong, nothing's happening, that he takes photos with all his fans, and he isn't trying to sleep with this woman. Afterwards, Makoto comes up with the idea to change up Captain Celebrity's public image, and they do this whole little thing, this little music thing, performance thing with like seemingly middle schoolers. The song itself was pretty good that they did on live TV, and that's where the episode ends. Also, we also see that Knuckle Duster is eating a massive bowl of instant ramen. I forget if it's like here or like might have been earlier on the episode when we first saw him, man. But like, I remember eating like this big bowl of instant ramen. I was like, God damn, that's a big. Well, you compare it to Popsit, which is like the size of like a standard like cup noodle thing, which I thought was kind of hilarious. Anyway, and then to end the episode off before we get cut to credits, Knuckle Duster says, foreign celebrities always act weird when they come to Japan. Like I said, I don't know if that was ripped from the Japanese or like ripped from the manga and the Japanese say the same thing, or like the adapted script of this episode snuck that in as a little, I guess, nod to the current epidemic in Japan with nuisance streamers, Logan Paul's fiasco from many years back, or not, but that's just something I noticed. And that's when we get to the end credits before we actually get a post-credit scene where we actually get to meet Koichi's parents. Yes, Koichi has both his parents, and we hear the father. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Koichi actually has a present father in his life. There is the Horikoshi Sensei. Where is Izuku's dad? Show us his dad. You promised you would show us his dad, but you never delivered. Horikoshi Sensei just forgot to put him in. Hopefully in season 8, we actually get to see Izuku's dad. That would be nice. But anyway, he's on the phone with his dad, and that's when he finds his mom's coming up from Tokyo. There's like a class reunion going on, and then she'll be staying at Koichi's place. So Koichi's like, it's like frantically going all over the place, trying to clean up the room to make sure it's spotless, because his mom is very strict. And Mom's just like, you're such a baby, you're scared of your mom. She's like, you don't know my mother. This sequence was hilarious, man. I would love to know who did the key animation. So far, last time I checked, there hasn't been much posted on My Soccer Academia from this episode. To be fair, there weren't that many really impressive cuts, but hopefully this cut gets posted and we find out which the animator that was behind it. Actually, let me check. I know they posted one cut from this episode, at least right now is when I was, at least right before I started recording. Yeah, we got the cut with when Captain Silver was taking down the building done by an animator by the name of Yuki. And then, yeah, that's it. That's the only cut that's been posted from this episode so far. So, but hopefully this cut gets posted. I would like to know who was the animator behind this. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, so afterwards, Koichi reveals what he told his mom, that he's like, that he's like running a normal life, he's valued at work, that he is living a fulfilled life. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Koichi is full. He is filled. Shout out to anyone that gets that reference. And that he also has a girlfriend. Popsta, of course, instantly starts blushing. Great key animation on this as well, I must say. I love the key animation that was done on Popstep here, man. Hopefully we find the animator that did this, man, because I would love to know who did the key animation for this. And she starts blushing. She's like, this is so dumb. Like, packs away her things and leaves. And then right as she jumps off Koichi's roof, his mom shows up and starts examining the rest of his apartment, going into his fridge and everything before he gives his mom some tea, and then immediately asking about where his girlfriend is. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we end the episode off. Like I said, the next episode preview, Koichi, we got like a whole thing going on. We even get to see the Totoro bus coming in there. there seemingly as well, which I'm sure is a reference to my name Totoro with the cat bust. We see Pop Step in this really cute outfit, hoping that, and like I said, I'm hoping that she ends up playing Koichi's girlfriend. So hopefully that ends up being the case in the next episode. We'll have to wait and see on that, because also Makoto's there, so it might be Makoto instead. We'll have to wait and see, but hopefully it is Pop Step. And it also seems like a fun episode, man. No lie, man. If it is Pop Step as Koichi's girlfriend, not gonna lie, I might do an episode reaction to next week's episode, man. Not gonna lie. If Pop Step is Koichi's girlfriend, I think I'll do a reaction to that episode, man. So I'll have to wait and see on that, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, guys, overall, I give this episode 9 out of 10, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, if you did, subscribe for me. Follow me so you feel like it. Links are below. And as always, back for more. See you guys next time.